There are no more, like, why are you don't understand what the morals and virtues are. Never let somebody tell you what their values are. Let them reveal them to you through their actions. And that's really what's going to give you an indicator on whether somebody is doing something or not. Remember very clearly, corporations bending over backwards to the annoying, loud, mentally ill people on Twitter. I was asking it even back in the late 2000s when it started. Exactly. And so I'm a GE welder, and they had a meeting with us warning us to be careful what we said on social media. Yeah, exactly. And so that's the reason why you had woke. Woke was not a cultural phenomenon. Woke was forced on you by billion-dollar corporations in order to make you compliant with their worldviews. Because here's also the issue, is that all of the woke worldviews actually indirectly help these companies. Things like, being able to make classes of people that are non-criticizable. Like, if you can just leverage and say any trans person or any black person you're criticizing, you're being transphobic or racist against, then all a company has to do is put a trans person or a black person.
Yes, famously, people actually hire trans people exclusively so that they are devoid of scrutiny, so that people, who could forget when DuPont was dumping toxic pollutants in the fucking water? They were like, oh, we'll just hire a trans person on the board and everything will go away. That shit is so stupid. These guys cry when you make fun of white men and then talk about classes of people you can't shit on. It's so stupid. The truth here is that companies were doing DEI initiatives partially because they wanted to market themselves as tolerant at a time when, yes, people were a lot more tolerant and woke was popping, okay? For sure. It's something that I also criticized all the time, specifically like, Target Pride Month merchandise or things like that. Or not criticized, but just like joked about, right? Because you can do that without actually being a hateful fucking douchebag. Woke is real because capitalism, Hasan. Are you dumb? What?
Out there, and you can't criticize the company. See, you never think about, people never think about
no one ever criticizes companies when there are trans people working there. Famously, like one of the number one criticisms of fucking Lockheed Martin is immediately destroyed because Lockheed Martin is actually very woke and very gay, right? If that was the case, there wouldn't be an entire genre of criticism of companies, specifically around pink washing, specifically around rainbow capitalism. And not just companies either. Israel does this shit all the time. We actually dunk on Israel doing this shit all the time. It's so fucking stupid. Like, this is the reason why he can't have I rarely ever look at like his full his full argument on anything, and I'm realizing this is precisely the reason why he's terrified of having a normal conversation with me, because I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
As tools and weapons. They only think about it as a principle, but it's whenever you create this ideology and then you weaponize it and you're able to use it to your advantage, that's whenever you're really going to come out ahead. That's what's going to happen. What company has done that? I think a lot of companies have. Look at what happened.
A chatter asks, what company has done that? A lot of them.
With Bud Light. I mean, they tried to do that. It just didn't work.
Bud Light hired a trans executive. Bud Light sent one can of beer to a trans content creator, and all hell broke loose. One can. People got one canned. And it was apparently so fucking impactful that Asmongold is still talking about it. Brilliant.
Star Wars is another great example.
Yeah. American capitalism American capitalism has created an environment where corporations get to basically destroy the environment, do whatever the fuck they want, and then as long as they hire one trans person, everything is forgiven because you can't criticize anybody if they have a trans person working there. And then the two immediate arguments he gives is one instance where Bud Light sent one fucking can of beer to Dylan Mulvaney, a trans TikToker, and everyone was shooting cans of Bud Light because they lost their fucking minds. And Star Wars. You really gotta be dumber than dirt to believe right-wing shit, dude. But unfortunately, the way things work currently is, people are dumber than dirt.
Another good example is The Witcher. Let me think. Besides that, Lockheed Martin, I don't know about that. So yeah,
Lockheed Martin, you don't know about that. According to the Human Rights Watch, or is it Human Rights Council? One of the two. Lockheed Martin is one of the gayest companies out there. The reason why a chatter brought up Lockheed Martin as an example is because it's one of the most common examples of rainbow capitalism that people actually shit on. Okay? Lockheed Martin's entire output is inventing new ways of murdering brown children overseas. Okay? It is a deeply unethical business. It is a firm and committed part of the military-industrial complex that dictates more and more funds be allocated to them. And that obviously plays a big role in American militarism all around the globe, right? And yet every single person shits on Lockheed Martin, and they also go so far as to shit on Lockheed Martin's like pro-gay, pro-LGBTQ initiatives, because everybody at the end of the day understands that none of that fucking matters. I hope you know you're making shit worse, acknowledging this motherfucker. The amount of times he's criticized you talking about him, this only feeds into that. You're right. I should ignore the guy who is making the dumbest arguments to 45,000 people right now. I should just ignore him and he'll go away. Brother, for like the last year, I barely talked about Asmongold. Only as of late have I started talking about him more frequently. And that never really stopped him from demanding that I get deported, demanding that I get arrested, demanding that the FBI persecute me, prosecute me, all this shit, calling me a fucking terrorist over and over again. Demanding I get deplatformed over and over again. Like, you think any of this stuff matters? No, of course not. Someone has to fucking debunk the idiocy coming from this guy. That's
Gillette,
it.
yeah, exactly. And so they put somebody as a figurehead up there that is part of a minority group in order for them to subvert all of these people's perception. And then instead of making them think, yeah, well, look at all these examples, right? People are just coming up with them nonstop. So now you can't criticize these types of media because you're now having to support it because of the identity. And that's what's happening. And that's my whole point of what I was trying to get at. So yeah, and best way you've articulated this, keep saying it this way. Yeah, and on top of that,
wait, I'm sorry, what?
Well, look at all these examples, right? People are just coming up with them nonstop. So now you can't criticize these types of media because you're now having to support.
Brother, saying Star Wars sucks because it has like, I don't even know what the meta is with Star Wars. Is it because like there's like a black character in it or something? What the fuck were these guys crying about? Because like saying Star Wars sucks is fine. Everybody says it. I say it all the fucking time. But if you turn around and you cry because you saw like a black character in Star Wars, then yeah, of course people are going to dunk on you. They're not trying to cancel you or anything. They're just making fun of you. Making fun of you is not a cancellation, okay? Because that one lady got fired or something. Oh yeah, the fucking Gina Carano. Right? Is that what it is? Is that the reason why they're I don't even know what his gripe with Star Wars is because I don't really give a fuck about Star Wars in general. Okay? Black people and women leads. Okay, yeah, that's I don't know. Maybe that's Asmongold's point. Instead of inventing what his points are here, I'm just, because I can't fucking talk to him. I'm not going to invent whatever his perspective is. I'm just referring to the most common ways in which people have like criticized Star Wars. With the exception of Andor, I don't really fuck with Star Wars at all as an IP. I think KOTOR is one of the greatest Star Wars IP related works of art that's out there. Knights of the Old Republic. Shouts out to the new game that's coming out. But as far as like the wokeness of Star Wars or whatever, it's not even remotely relevant, in my opinion, to media criticism. I think it's very, very stupid to constantly cry about this, to constantly complain about this. Okay, I like Andor. I like Knights of the Old Republic. I don't really give a shit about the rest of the Star Wars franchise. And it does seem to me like a lot of the fucking nerds online who happen to be right-wing constantly complain about Star Wars because they think it's woke or some shit. I don't know. But none of that is creating an environment where like a work of art or some kind of IP is not worthy of any sort of criticism whatsoever, or an actual corporation putting up a shield, a defensive shield against like, I don't know, poisoning the environment or filling the things that we consume with like microplastics, or lobbying the government to consistently go out and fucking bomb countries overseas and demand more subsidies from the government. None of those things, like, it's not a valid criticism to be like, oh no, I can't actually criticize this company. I can't criticize ExxonMobil for destroying the planet because they have gay people working there. That's not a real thing. Okay? You invented that. Okay? You invented that criticism, and I don't even think you can point to anyone who is sincerely making that argument. If someone is sincerely making that argument, I'll be the first to fucking joke about that and dunk on them, as I have time and time again. As a matter of fact, one of my famous intros is literally more women drone pilots from Vika's music, which actually directly makes a joke about pink washing and white feminism, and how certain rad-lib tendencies are actually used as a silly deflective shield that most people are aware of, that most people actually don't entertain at all.
Look up at the vast sky and hear an awful sound. 4 hellfire missiles in the sky. I watch my life flash before my eyes, but at least there's one huge plus. We know that the bomber was a gay woman drone pilot. Hashtag girl boss.
So it didn't work with Bud Light, and then being like, you can't criticize them, but it didn't work. Or this example where it also didn't work, like the amount of cognitive dissonance. Exactly. Like, people understand this shit. At least leftists understand this shit. I don't even think Democrats even lean into this stuff anyway. And I'm obviously very critical of the Democrats regardless.
It because of the identity. And that's what's happening. And that's my whole point of what I was trying to get at. So yeah, and best way you've articulated this, keep saying it this way. Yeah, and on top of that, also, like, who do you think bringing in a bunch of immigrants actually helps? Do you think that actually helps American citizens? Of course it doesn't help American citizens. But you know who it does help? It helps big business. It helps big business.
Elaborate on that. This is the question. Bringing in immigrants into the country, or we're not even like shipping in immigrants in most circumstances. It's just like immigrants are coming into the country, right? Because there's still more opportunity here as opposed to the places of origin, the nations of origin, where immigrants are coming from that we have oftentimes destroyed, right? But immigrants don't actually come here as a monolithic force or as a parasitic force in general. They come here in the same exact with the same exact mindset that Asmongold's great grandparents did, right? They wanted a better future for themselves. That's why they came here. They thought there was a lot of opportunity here, and that's it. It doesn't change when someone is like coming from the Latin American continent, the South American continent, or coming in from Germany, or wherever the fuck Asmongold's parents, like great grandparents, immigrated from. Okay. And yes, immigrants do actually help this country. Immigrants are the reason why. Immigration is perhaps the most redeemable aspect of the United States of America. It's the reason why America has been such a dominant power all around the world beyond the endless imperialism. Okay? Immigrants are the reason why the United States of America have not fallen into the same issues that many other developed countries have fallen into in terms of aging out their population. You're trying to explain the concept of brain drain to someone who doesn't shower. I know. There's also that element too, obviously. Like when you have a steady flow of migration coming from other countries, some of their top earners, some of the people that have the highest educational attainment are actually coming to the United States of America. This benefits America endlessly. That's precisely the reason why so many of the products that every single American consumes, that we consider to be like tremendously innovative pieces of technology, have come because or have been invented by immigrant workers working on publicly funded research programs. Like it's ridiculous. This argument is ridiculous, and it's also un-American. Okay, it is the most American thing. The United States of America was developed as a settler colonial enterprise on the backs of continuing chattel slavery and doing indigenous genocide. But everything past that point has always been immigrants coming here nonstop and becoming American. So when people actually take this anti-immigrant stance, it's like the most un-American stance you can have. There's always obviously been people who have cried about new migration patterns, right? Italians, they're coming in, they're parasitic. The Irish, they're coming in, they're parasitic. Jewish people should not be allowed to come in, they're parasitic. All this stuff, right? Polish people, Greek people. And slowly but surely, all of these groups have firmly become a part of America, so much so that when you're like 4, 5, 6 generations removed from the nation of origin, you don't even think about where your background is from unless it comes up in a conversation. You're just American. And that's the same for migrants coming in from the South American continent as well. That's it. And as far as like, oh, this doesn't benefit anybody, that's also ridiculous, right? Not only are migrants playing a formative role in publicly funded research, but they're also playing an incredibly important role in the productive forces in this country. Okay? They're working just like everybody else is working. That's it.
Big corporations and billionaires and the business ruling class. Those are the people that it really helps. So what they did is they poisoned the Democrat Party with identity.
Yeah. As far as this being beneficial to big business, he's not wrong. It is beneficial to big business. It's only beneficial to big business, however, if the new coming immigrants are considered second-class labor, second-tier labor. We have a 2-tier labor structure in this country: undocumented workers and documented workers. And undocumented workers are oftentimes used as a mechanism to displace the existing documented U.S. labor force. It is used by big business as a way to depress wages overall. This part is correct, okay? But the solution to that is not to continue the disposable 2-tier labor structure or to engage in mass deportation and concentration camps for anyone that we've determined is not white enough, right? The solution to that is actually to document the existing labor force across the board with conditional amnesty measures, which are very popular, by the way, even though they're never discussed by the Democratic Party, unfortunately, okay? And then allow them to participate in the labor union collective bargaining process. This will automatically increase wages. It is the only way to actually have a long-term solution to what can be seen as a problem right now, a problem that only benefits big businesses. It is also ironic because he'll take an anti-big business stance here while simultaneously benefiting the bottom line of these big businesses, because consistently shifting the attention back to the undocumented laborer as though the undocumented laborer is responsible for the system and not the fucking capital owner is entirely beneficial. It's the work of capitalists to draw enmity towards those who actually have the exact same class position as you, who are working for pennies on the fucking dollar, right? To say, oh, they look different than you. You should get mad about them. They look different than you. They don't know your language. You should hyper focus all of your anger and animosity towards them. This is an incredibly beneficial take for all of these big businesses. And that's precisely why the wealthiest billionaire on the fucking planet is highlighting Asmongold with regular fucking frequency. But none of that actually causes people to go, wait a minute, why is Elon Musk actually consistently promoting Asmongold? Who is more big business than fucking Elon Musk? Elon Musk is the pro-capitalist forces personified, right? He's the wealthiest billionaire on the fucking planet. What are we talking about? He just keeps posting this clip over and over again. Popular streamer Asmongold calls for the denaturalization and deportation of entire Somali families over Minnesota fraud. He also wants Tim Walz charged with treason. Do you? Do you think Elon Musk is actually anti-fraud? Elon Musk would not be the wealthiest billionaire on the planet if it wasn't for unlimited subsidies that he's gotten from the government and demand more of it with regular frequency. That's a big part of how he has made his wealth. Okay? This is a distraction that benefits people like Elon Musk. This allows people like Elon Musk to basically turn around and say, it's not me. I'm not the one who's fucking your life up. As one of the wealthiest motherfuckers on the planet, the wealthiest motherfucker on the planet is actually the random Somali people that are fucking your life up. And a lot of people, unfortunately, fall for it. Okay? If Asmongold was truly anti-big business, right? If Asmongold truly was anti-fraud, or if he was truly anti-big business, he would recognize that big business thrives when you develop enmity towards those who don't look the same as you, right? And then you justify this two-tier immigration system. You continue this two-tier immigration system. Because the reality of the matter is, these guys are not more racist than they are capitalist, okay? There are some who are more racist than they're capitalist, but for the time being, Donald Trump, once again, as I correctly predicted last year, when I said he's not going to do these mass deportations in the way that he claimed he was going to do, because it's obviously very harmful to capital interests. So he's not going to do that at all. He's just going to fucking do a couple deportations and, you know, accelerate it, obviously, and strike fear in the hearts of migrant communities in this country. And then eventually people are going to get frustrated with that. And that's precisely where we're at right now. But the reason why he wasn't going to actually do mass deportations and mass exile in the way that he claimed he was going to do is because it would destroy the entire American economy. And I promise you, the moment that you can't get your fucking treats for the same price point that you're comfortable getting them, you would revolt. But nobody wants to think about who's picking those treats, okay? Who's picking those crops at the farms? Who's playing a role in building these buildings all around the country? The correct way to solve this issue is to ensure that there isn't a two-tier immigration structure, because a two-tier immigration structure, as long as there's hatred towards, undocumented migrants, is what is beneficial for these companies, because at the end of the day, they understand that they're never going to get punished for hiring undocumented workers. That's the whole point of the system. The whole point of the system is to hire undocumented workers and then shit on them over and over again, so no one actually fucking decides to document these people, okay? Because if they do, then their bottom lines are going to be in threat. They're going to be under scrutiny. The system is designed this way. That's why I get very frustrated with people who do this fake populist bullshit, okay? People who do this fake populist bullshit while simultaneously leaning into the propaganda that billionaires and millionaires and capitalists are actually leaning into as aggressively as possible. Anytime you think the real problem is just another person, your neighbor, and in the case of the Somali migrants that we're talking about, they're all American citizens. 60% of them are natural-born U.S. citizens. 90% overall are naturalized and natural-born U.S. citizens, so they have American citizenship. When you actually put the beat on those guys and say, nope, these guys are all bad, you're doing the bidding of the likes of Elon Musk, and that's precisely the reason why they love this shit and they pump it all day, every day. Any moment spent thinking that other people in this country, undocumented migrants in this country, or documented migrants of a different background than yours, is actually causing you harm, any moment that you spend on that silly ass fucking notion, and not realize that it is actually the real power players here, people like Elon Musk, billionaires, millionaires, and big corporations that are actually dominating your lives, is a moment that you're defending them. Then it is war. 300K likes. Breaking, Somali TikToker threatens Elon Musk's life. I wouldn't worry too much about him. He about to die. Protect Elon Musk at all costs. Then it is war. This is like a fucking random TikToker, man. You're the wealthiest person on the fucking planet. What do you mean this is war? Is there a reason we don't think that people like Asmongold is being paid by capital to push this shit? No, there are always going to be useful idiots in general. Or not even useful idiots necessarily, but useful idiots that know. Useful idiots that that know that there is a lot of clout that you can gain, a lot of prominence that you can farm off of this when you have the wealthiest person on the planet who owns his own social media platform promoting you. When you say stuff like this, when you play along with their goals, when you shift people's attention away from the corporate oligopoly, constant corporate consolidation, endless amounts of lobbying, endless amounts of subsidies that they accrue as a consequence of endless amounts of lobbying, and you just redirect that attention back to random people, your neighbors, your communities, and decide whole cloth that every single person, okay, every single person that is coming from like a Somali background is actually engaging in some level of fucking fraud. It makes the real fraudsters get away with it in broad daylight. The biggest fraudster of all time is Elon Musk. Any moment that you spend not shitting on people like Elon Musk is a moment where people like Elon Musk get away with it. So you can keep saying, oh, I hate big corporations, and engage in this fake populism, this empty populism, or as I like to call it, sloppyism, right? But every moment that you do that, while simultaneously shifting the anxieties and the anger and resentment people feel towards, you know, entire whole swaths of the population that have been living here for decades at this point, right, is a moment where Elon Musk gets to keep stealing. It's the LBJ quote that you can slam in here every single time. Not LeBron James, of course. I'm talking about LBJ, the president, okay? If you can convince the lowest white man that he is better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. That's it. That's it. That's what's going on. All of this other stuff is just culture war. Yeah, the enemy is the 1%. It's the billionaires versus the rest of us. MAGA keeps distracting us with culture wars as they drink all of our milkshake. And that's precisely what's happening here, okay? America's 15 richest billionaires got $1 trillion richer as the affordability crisis became a top concern in 2025. And you're out here fucking complaining. You're out here complaining. You think like the Somalis are the top 1%. This is how it's been. And the more you focus on undocumented migrants who are stealing our jobs and also stealing our welfare, the more you lean into this dumb shit, okay? The more you hyper focus on this element of fraud and not fraud being tackled in its entirety, which would require us to take a closer look at these guys as well, because they are the biggest fraudsters, right? Any moment that you're hyper focusing on that, you're doing their bidding. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe how successful this commentary actually is. And it's so successful that people literally do it even in this chat where they'll go, oh, you're talking about billionaires and millionaires. Aren't you a millionaire? Like, it's so fucking stupid. There it is.
Politics, and then they subverted identity politics and distorted it into allowing in a bunch of unskilled laborers, and now we're paying for it.
Identity politics is not about like defending unskilled laborers, brother. What the fuck? Oh my God. Unskilled laborers too. That's the... Oh my God. Unskilled labor is bullshit, okay? These people play an incredibly important role in the productive forces. It's necessary labor, okay? Like, it's additionally funny for a fucking Twitch streamer to say this, you know? This is the ultimate says you moment. Bitch, what kind of skill do you have? At least I recognize that I'm not actually a part of the productive forces engaging in socially necessary labor here. I'm a Twitch streamer. It's crazy to me. To have the audacity to say this kind of stuff.
That's how it happened. And if I don't know why people don't understand. I think that people don't want to admit that they got, but people have been got. They totally got. They slowly boiled us? Yeah, I mean, that's what I think has happened. Anyway, what's this?
Guys, the owner's son just said that his lawyer said that they're not allowed to talk to us.
Oh. Oh, I forgot they have the signs up because they can't figure out how to change the letters.
This is the property of the restaurant, right?
Uh-huh.
Is this property of the daycare or the restaurant?
Let me turn this up a little bit.
Yeah, but yesterday I got some takeout from Albi Kitchen, and so I'm allowed to be here. Because this is
Close
the
the
kitchen's
door.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Don't take the camera. Go over there if you want. Please.
But I ordered some food from Albi Kitchen, and this is the kitchen's...
I just noticed. Do you know what's not in this video at all? There's no parents walking to and from the daycare at all. I know this is just a 1-minute video, but it's important to keep that in mind.
parking lot.
No, this is my property. Please go
No
over
kids
Oh, you're the
again.
owner?
there. Please go over there.
Are you the owner?
100 times.
Uh-huh.
Go over there, please.
Are you the owner of the property?
Go over there.
Oh, okay. Are you also the owner of Quality Learning?
I don't want to talk. Go.
Seems like you want to talk. Seems like he wants to talk. He must have. It must be lonely just standing there, yelling at people all day.
Yep.
I think he does want to talk. I wonder, what's the border? Can I stand here?
This response applies to Asmon's ideology. You don't need to engage with other people if you don't want to, according to him. Yeah, of course. But when the person is of Somali background, obviously then harassing them and loitering around their property alongside hundreds of other fucking clout goblins is totally appropriate, totally valid.
Gonna be
Or is
able
this-
to do anything?
Is this
Yeah.
okay? Can I be right here?
They covered the sign? Did they really? Let me see. What a bunch of fucking retards, man. Oh my god.
Is this okay? Can I be right here?
Yeah, why am I not surprised?
Can I stand here?
This is just for views? It is just for views, but I do think that... Isn't it weird that...
Where's the senior citizens?
Oh, yeah, we just watched him do this. Clicks on video. Yeah, dude, this video makes a pretty good point. Yeah, that's pretty true. Pause the video. What he just said is really true, actually. Unpause and nods along more. Yeah. People who watch and donate money to this nonsense need to be culled. Yeah, he does have the... He does often have a tendency to just be like, oh, I'm laughing along with everybody, actually, about this thing. It's so funny. Yeah, based.
And also, I don't feel bad for these guys. I really don't. You shouldn't have been scamming. And now you have all Americans everywhere coming in here trying to figure out what's actually going on.
Dog. If they are scamming, let the actual investigators conduct a investigation. What the fuck? This is not how this goes, man. This is not how anything goes. This is just pure fucking anarchy. What are we doing?
On here. The sign was fixed a few days ago. It actually says Learning Center now. Well,
Trump pardoning the guy guilty of billions in
we don't
Medicare
have
fraud. This is
anything.
fine,
There's
but little girls
there's
speaking,
no
oh hell no.
response for this at all. That's crazy. Wow. Wow. That's sad. Really. Is you got people like this. You just ask a simple question. You can't even answer the question. Oh, okay. He typed something. What do you type? I hear a lot about this girl in the immigrant community. I guess you're worried about the fraud from Trump has ever conducted himself. No, now you're changing what you're saying. When did I ever say that I was okay, or that the guy pardoning him from is fine? Like, what do you think that I think about that? It's a simple question.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about some other shit. I asked you a simple question. Why can't you just answer the question?
Oh no, you're getting
You
people.
changing shit
You're
around.
getting wait.
When did I ever say that?
Wait.
You're gonna put words in my mouth and get mad at him? I mean, like, you're gonna
Oh
have to explain what
shit!
you're
You don't
saying.
like it when other people
I mean, I
do
feel
this
like
to
it's
you.
not that hard.
Damn. This is professionally what you do to me.
You want to demonize an immigrant community when you lose sight of the real issues in this country? Yeah, because they're scamming us. That's what's happening. I mean, are they not scamming?
How much time and emphasis has
let me
Asmongold
ask
placed
you
on
something,
criticizing Big Daddy Trump,
If somebody
pardoning all these fucking fraudsters?
No, it's not changing shit around. It's paying attention to real problems. So let me get this straight. You don't think that it's a real problem that you have an entire community in an area that's defrauding the government for billions of dollars? You don't think that's a problem?
Type in chat. He claims you're a mod. No, I can't. I got banned in his chat. Look. Oh
Really?
wait,
I
they
mean, you don't
unbanned
think
me.
that, like,
I'm a
they've
VIP
defrauded the
now.
government for
They
about the
unbanned
same
me, I
amount of
guess.
money
I was banned
that's
until
the
like
GDP
recently.
of their country.
I used to
He's
be a
timed out.
mod.
I untimed him out.
And
It's
he-
okay.
He unbanned me and then VIP'd me, it seems.
I mean, doesn't that seem odd? He's arguing with the optics of your opinion, not the opinion. Yeah, I don't give a shit about, like, oh wow, it's an immigrant community. I don't give a shit about that. Why would I care about that? They're scamming.
I like that it's now all Somalis and not the specific people doing the fraud. Interesting. I mean, it's always been the case. That's always been what it is. When someone actually directly asks that question, though, he'll be like, oh, well, I'm just talking about the people who are doing it. I'm just talking about the people who I'm suspecting of doing it. Okay? But that's what it is.
What do you think I would want to do with them? Jail? No. Fraud in any capacity is bad, but to shine a light on a community that's a little drop in a bucket compared to the actual fraud going on Tether is misled because people like you in the media pick up attack these different communities. So is it bad or so it's bad? Okay,
Everybody thinks it's bad when fraud is happening, whether it's a Somali American doing it or a white American doing it. Your hyper focus and your priorities and the way that you talk about it, obviously makes it seem as though you feel the entire Somali American community is responsible for this fraud. And it's a misdirection. It's a distraction away from the fraudsters in the admin.
Huge problem with these Somalian daycares and healthcare centers scamming money from the Minnesota government. Do you think this is happening?
I mean, if he's getting dunked on by chatters, of course he's not going to try to fucking have a conversation with me.
Do you think it's happening? Why don't you go after the real fraud? I have many times. I've talked about it many times.
Really?
You're jousting with windmills. You're arguing with something that didn't happen. Do you think it's happening or not in Minnesota?
Yeah. This is so here's what's going on, okay? As soon as he is asked about his positions, he has to back into a much more reasonable position. Yes, fraud has taken place. Yes, the defendants in an ongoing fraud investigation were Somali Americans, right? This is true. This is real. Except what has been going on for the last 48 hours, for the last 76 hours in the media cycle is not specifically the investigation that took place. It's the notion that every single Somali is responsible. Every single Somali business is victim to unlimited harassment now.
Of other communities doing
and
the
he just
same
keeps
thing.
shifting
So,
back and
for
forth
example, when
to
you
try to
see
present
the
an
media,
argument that it's
a
actually the
representative
grifter
sample
third
of
worlders
the
that are
actual
parasitic, that are just
Now,
here to
I
steal
don't know if you've ever been
American
around-
funds.
I don't want to read this anymore, Hasan. If you're 100%, yeah, there's fraud in every incident agreement. You're right. You're totally right about that. Most definitely. That also includes the immigrant. No, and this is also not. Let me go back, and I want to make sure that we get this nailed down. Do you think that there is a very clear instance of a lot of these Somalian-owned daycares and businesses that are defrauding Minnesota? This is a yes or no question. Do you think that
You
this
don't
is
know
happening
that.
or not?
There is currently, as it stands, no evidence has been presented beyond just going and knocking on their doors and screaming to see the children.
Expensive a year. How long is Somali fraud in comparison to federal benefits you put out annually? A lot. And I bet if you go after that fraud, you're going to find more of it.
The real question in this circumstance is, do you have any hard evidence as to
this
all
is
of these
always what
businesses
people
that are
like this
being
do. You
visited
can't even argue
that are
it's not a
engaging in a
bad
type of
thing.
fraud
You're just
that
trying to bring up
people are
something
claiming they're
else.
engaging
The
in?
reason
As
why
in,
you're
there
trying
are
to
no
bring up
children there.
something
There have never
else
been children
is
there. They're
because
simply
what I'm
lying about the
talking
head
about
count
is
and
inconvenient for
doing
you
it so they
politically.
can get money. No
So you
child
don't
is ever
really give
being
a shit
taken
about
care
the
of.
fraud.
It's simply a
You don't
way to
care
make
about
money.
this at all. That's why whenever I ask you, like, is this happening, you're reframing my question and then answering something I didn't ask. So no, what about this? What about that? What about this other thing? Listen, like, I don't like any of it. It's obvious that this isn't a problem. So yeah, guy's a fucking retard, of course. And
wait, that's crazy. Why are the people that are coming after him in his chat infinitely nicer in their back and forth conversation than his fans that come in here? When his fans come in here, they're like, why are you a terrorist, dog abuser, piece of shit? You need to die. And like when he actually has people that call into question his worldview, it's always like much nicer. It's like walking through it step by step. I guess his fans are just much smarter than he is.
Democrat
That's
or a
probably what it is.
leftist or a liberal, they'd be making excuses for it. They don't give a fuck about it. The only reason why they're bringing it up is they're trying to create an artificial parody. It's the same reason, you remember, like, whenever they started trying, they were talking about, oh, they're going to prosecute Hunter Biden, and, oh, well, we want to make sure everybody's treated the same under the law. But then at the end of the day, on the last day of Biden's presidency, Hunter Biden gets a presidential pardon that's like a blank check for the last 10 years. The reason why is because they were doing that in order to create an artificial parody between the way that Trump was being treated by the justice system and also by the way Hunter Biden was being treated by the justice system. So they only did that as a show. They don't really care about the rules.
That's insane.
They don't really care about any
Donald
of this.
Trump has
So to the
infinitely
extent that you
more
engage with them as if their concerns
instances
and
of
their
criminality that
criticism is legitimate,
wasn't even
you
prosecuted because he
lose
became
you're
the fucking
playing a
president,
game.
as opposed to Hunter Biden. Okay? And I'm not defending Hunter Biden or Biden's pardon at all. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, Biden sucks, and so does Hunter Biden. But the notion that Hunter Biden is like, it reaches the same degree of criminality as Donald Trump, who was a pivotal figure in January 6th, or even the people who did January 6th, who were all pardoned. That's ridiculous.
I'm going to pull, you're going to get pulled up too.
Let's see what this guy's saying. Do you have any
Do you
evidence that
think
there's
that's- do
100%
you
fraud
think it's
happening, or
weird that
there's
they-
some
like, do
YouTubers
you
coming
think
in
that
and
they're
asking to see
going and
kids?
there's
Not
anything
saying that there
weird
isn't
about them
evidence.
asking to see the kids? Is that you're saying this is like some thing about how, oh, well, you're trying to see the kids. Why are you saying see the kids? Do you think that there was anything malicious or problematic or bad, that they had any sort of like weird intentions with trying to see the kids?
Yes. Yes. You can't roll up to a fucking childcare facility, whether there are children there at that moment or not, and demand to see the children, and then assume that this is like conclusive evidence that there's no kids there.
That's manipulation. No, we'll listen to what he's saying. It's okay. There's legit tons of the issues, and yes, I think that. So you think that you think Nick Shirley is like, what do you think? He's like a pedophile?
That's not the argument.
Do you think he's like a pedophile?
It could be. We don't know. I have just as much evidence of Nick's pedophilia as I do of Nick presenting evidence that these places are doing fraud. Now, later down the line, some of these places might actually be proven to be fraudulent, but that doesn't mean that Nick actually presented any evidence to suggest that they are.
You can't just roll up to a child facility, ask to see kids. He could be a pedo.
Yeah, he could be a pedo. I don't know. That's the whole point.
I've never known the guy.
That's the whole point.
Sure
He could
like
be
you
a
do.
pedophile. You don't
And so
know.
anyway,
That's part of
so
the reason
this
why
is
you don't
what
let
happens,
random
right?
fucking let
And the
random
reason why I
adults
asked
into an
this
area
question
where
is
you,
because
as
I
another
knew that it would
adult,
reveal
that
the
is
dishonesty.
you as another adult
This
is a
a person
guardian
who
of the
thinks that Nick
state
Shirley is a
over
pedophile because
other
he's
people's
trying to
children.
investigate a daycare. You don't actually think that. You know that's not true.
What?
It's
He
obviously
doesn't know.
not true. But you're just saying it because it's something that sounds bad. It's because you've used the term racist so many times. You've said racist 1,000 fucking times. You never said that? He never said that?
Just as much
Guys,
evidence
was he implying that Nick
for
Shirley had
these
some sort of bad, ulterior,
daycares
weird,
being
fucked up intentions? Was he implying that?
for these
With
daycares
the first
having
question? He obviously
no
was.
children
Do not allow yourself to
that
be gaslit by people
chatter
that want to lie and manipulate
presented
you.
for him.
It's obvious
for
what
Nick
you're doing with language.
being a
and anybody
pedo.
with over a
What is
90
it?
IQ
Zach
can
Raw,
see it.
right?
It's so obvious.
I said that last
These
chatter wasn't wrong.
tricks
Nick presented
might
just as
work
much evidence for
on,
these
I don't
daycares having no
know,
children as that chatter
morons on
presented for
Twitter
Nick being a pedo.
And people that automatically
Why is
already
it?
agree with you.
Why is it? Your comparison is going to go over his head? No, I mean, seriously. If you believe Nick Shirley provided ample evidence, which is just, you know, his own personal perspective, that these places are fraudulent, then anyone saying Nick Shirley is a pedophile is presenting the same level of fucking evidence. And not only that, but they're also, not only that, but imagine if you went to wherever Nick Shirley was living in, like his home or the place that he works at, with a camera crew and consistently fucking talking about
Any sort of principle. They don't have any actual argument at all. All they're trying to do is create weird insinuations and other misrepresentations in order to push an agenda that is supposedly trying to make people not think what's obviously in front of them.
his chat
It's
is noticing
deflection.
I'm
Yeah, they're
in there,
deflecting
but
these
he doesn't want to
imaginary
notice
accusations.
it.
This is a 23-year-old Mormon, and you have a bunch of weirdos like that on Twitter that are trying to paint him out as a pedophile. I mean, really, if you take a step back and you think about how deranged and weird that is, it's insane.
I'm not kidding when I say this. We have more evidence to suggest that Nick is a pedophile than all of these daycares having 0 children in them. Because we have evidence that Nick is trying to see children inside of daycare facilities with a camera. Okay? That is, unironically, more evidence of Nick's potential pedophilia than any evidence that he has presented about these daycare facilities engaging in the type of fraud that Nick Shirley was trying to claim that they were engaging in.
There's like 50 houses of these people that have a daycare, and then you can't enroll any of them. You're going in, and these people do not even speak English in a lot of cases. The phone number goes to the government office. Let's see here. Oh, the amount of kids there is not even 1/4 of what their occupancy is. And you add in all of these things together. Please, you don't have to die on this hill. It's so obviously fraud. Any rational, reasonable person knows that it's fraud. It is. I don't know what else to say. Give me 1 second. I use the bathroom. Actually,
You don't know what else to say because you don't have an argument.
excuse me.
I'm saying you
That's a
don't have
blocking,
any
man. No,
evidence
it's obviously
for
and the
any of
reason
that.
why,
I'm not
like,
against
I
that
don't know
being the
why
case. Nick
Hasan
never
gets
presented
so
any of that.
hyperfixated on
Once again,
defending these fraudulent communities. Like Hasan and I have a lot of common ground with things like public education, free healthcare, all of these other things. Like he and I agree on all of these things, but you're constantly simping for these toxic, parasitic immigrant communities that are coming over here trying to defraud us. Like you really, I mean, like somebody broke into the building and they just happened to steal all of the documentation. Like, I mean, how can you even for 1 second believe that that's not an immediate fucking scam? Like,
see, this is what I mean. He doesn't know. He doesn't know how this process works.
Thinking like
He doesn't
that.
know how this process works. He thinks that that documentation is the only way to conclusively prove that there is like fraud happening there or not, implying that that documentation was actually stolen by the business owner himself. Once again, the government has access to every single person and every single child's information. That's not the only form of evidence that the government has. The reality of the matter is, if they wanted to prosecute that place, as I'm sure they will,
being dishonest?
right?
Yeah, it's
They'll
so obvious.
investigate the.
I mean, what about the fact
theft
that they
that
were
took place.
investigated again? Your place gets broken into, and then they happen to steal all the records. I'm sorry, but if you think that's anything besides fraud,
Do you think that
you
those
have
records are the
departed
only
from
way
reality.
to
Please stop
investigate
doing this.
this
I
place?
also want universal health care.
Do you
I
realize
also
how
want to have
any
a degree
of
better
these
treatment for everybody.
programs work?
I also want to expand social systems, but we
Once
can't
again,
do that in
not-
America if you keep
Once
importing
again,
people
not
that are net
saying
negatives
this
and
isn't
scammers.
the case.
You can't do it.
You
can
just
have mass
you are
migration of
simply
third worlders,
speculating.
or you can have robust social systems. Choose. Now, in my opinion,
Do you
the
think
world
that those
I wanna
records are the
live
only
in
way to investigate
is
this
the
place?
world
Do you
with the
realize
robust
how
social
any of these
systems
programs work?
for
Once again, not
America.
saying this isn't the case. You are simply speculating.
If you don't like that, too bad. So anyway, listen, let me go back down. I'll look at a few more of these. Worked in 20 years in law enforcement. Never in my years have I come across a case where they break in and just steal documents. It's obvious. It's obvious. Like, but there's no evidence. There's no evidence. Like, do you think they're going to just come out and say, I'm scamming?
Update
Like,
for
what do you think
CNN
is
law
gonna
enforcement.
happen?
Child care centers at
You
the
have
center
to
of Nick
look at
Shirley's
the
video
different
were operating as
situation,
expected when
and
visited
you
by
have to look at
investigators.
all
The Minnesota
different
Department of
points in
Children,
it
Youth, and
and
Families
say,
said
hey,
children were
listen,
present on all sites
all
except
these
for one.
things
That
don't
site
add up.
was not yet open. The agency gathered evidence and initiated further
The answer-
review,
okay,
noting the
I'll
investigation
list-
into 4
I'll read
senators
one
were
more, okay?
ongoing. The report by Minneapolis DCYF
Hasan
said.
has been reduced to being a chatter. Do you think the records are only way to investigate the place to realize any of the programs work? Once again, I'm not saying this case. You're just simply speculating. Okay.
The government has access
right,
to the
listen.
information of every single parent, and not only every single parent,
All right.
but
You're getting
also
pulled up. What do you
government
think the
has
probability is
access
that these
to the
businesses
info of
are scammers?
all children and their parents'
think the probability
financial
If you
status.
had to guess between 1 and 100. If you had to guess.
What did he ask? I didn't even hear it. What did he say?
Government access to all the info of the children and the parents' financial status? Exactly. The government's in on it. That's why they should be charged too as accomplices. What's the percentage?
Wait, if he actually believes that, then wait, what do you mean? What's the percentage?
Sorry. I read
These
something.
places have
What's the percentage?
income qualifications. They can't
Bro, their daycare is their
Get-
own house.
subsidies
I know.
without the government looking at the parents' background. This would. What is this? Hasan, percentage of speculation? What is the question that he asked me? These places have income qualifications. They can't get subsidies without the government looking at the parents' background.
We'll give it a little bit longer.
What was the question he asked?
We'll give it a little bit longer. But no, I think he does bring up a good point. The government does have access to this. That's why there has to be a federal investigation. I think that what's happening is that they're directing the federal government to not go after these people because they want to secure the votes from this community. I think that's what's happening.
Why don't we talk then?
You have to check with the chat first. I mean, I feel like it's such a
too
simple question.
boomer
Right? What's the
to
probability of it
type
being a scam?
fast.
Why don't we talk then? No, I'm not. We're not gonna. Oh my god, bro, you're in the chat. Can you stop?
Are you worried?
Oh my god.
We agree. No.
It's just a simple percentage.
Stop begging.
Jesus. No,
really?
I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to go and argue with you about this or whatever. Because again, if you look at all of the evidence presented and you don't come to the conclusion that there is like a 99% chance that this is a scam, you're lying. You're lying. You're obviously lying. It's so clear.
Uh-oh. They're all saying he's a pussy now. Uh-oh.
Such a debate. Yeah, it's not a debate. That's why I asked about the percentage.
What is the question that he asked me about the percentage? I didn't hear it. What was the question?
Like his basic. No, it's okay. It's he's a communist, right? Everybody gets their own space.
What was the question about the percentage?
He can't. It's against his beliefs. He answered.
Speculate on the probability of fraud.
Let me see if it did. Kind of feels like you don't want to dunk on me easy style. No, I just don't like debating. I don't debate about video games. And again, you're going to try and do the strategy. Listen, Hasan, you are the Jake Paul of debates. You have no problem gassing yourself up, talking about how much you want to debate me or debate some other, as you like to call them, slop tuber.
Watch. He's going to say
But
Destiny.
whenever it comes time to debate Ben Shapiro on capitalism or debate Destiny, for some reason, you don't really have that same attitude. So I don't really want to hear about, oh, yeah, I want to debate you. You're going to come in and be the big guy and everything like that.
I did want to debate Ben Shapiro. Barry Weiss pulled it very publicly. I don't know why. I don't know why you're saying that.
I did want to debate Ben Shapiro. Barry Weiss pulled it. Because they wanted to debate on something else.
Oh! Barry Weiss publicly said I need to be deplatformed.
Hasan, did you see what I said about that?
I need to be deplatformed.
Because I did cover it. I talked about it. Did you see it? Barry Weiss publicly said I needed to be deplatformed. Yeah, but did you see what I said?
No, I didn't see what the fuck he said. Again, he's only able to talk because he can at least control the narrative a little bit in this circumstance. But he can't control it if we're having a back and forth conversation. Even a couple statements immediately cause him to back away from his initial claims, right? And this is the reason why he wants to control the narrative. He wants to make sure that, like, at most he will respond to me chatting in his chat. Okay?
Fraud is probably so much worse than you can even imagine. This fraud is insanely fucking bad. And I don't think that it's just with these daycares. I think it is with the entire fucking government, healthcare. It's with healthcare. It's with health and human services. It's with food stamps. It's with welfare. It's with tax write-offs.
Public-private partnerships.
Fucking everything. And if we had in my opinion, I think that we are spending close to, if not over, $1 trillion on fraud every single year. And if you don't believe me... Oh, timed out? What is this here? I think Minnesota fraud is abysmal, a byproduct of private partnerships. I want it all to be combated. Okay, good. Then that's fine. Great. Then we're on the same side.
Hyper-focusing
Stop trying to make this an argument about some bullshit.
No, claiming that...
Like, okay, great, good. We're on the same side. That's amazing. I'm happy.
Parasites.
Good.
Are the... Claiming that third world parasites are coming in to do
here we go.
Fraud.
Yes, and no, I might look at this in a minute. But...
Claiming that third world parasites are coming in to do fraud is
the
issue I have
I'm saying is that I think that it is so much worse than what people realize. Like, I grew up, I don't know really,
Hasan
like,
is
Hasan was in
garbage,
Turkey
trash.
for a while. I'm claiming that third world parasites are coming to do fraud is the issue I have with your claim.
The
then maybe they
overwhelming
should stop doing it.
majority of
considered that?
migrants
Claiming
just
third world
want
parasites
to
are coming in to do fraud.
exist and work alongside
then maybe they should stop
everyone
doing it.
else. There will always
When
be
these people
fraudsters,
go and they advocate for racial,
and they
racial
should
ethnic voting,
be jailed.
they stay inside of their own community. They don't assimilate into America.
That's
they
not,
send
none of this
money
is true.
back home
None of,
to
now he's just
Somalia
all,
that funds
this
terrorism.
is all just made up shit.
And then on top of that, there will always be fraudsters. They should be jailed, of course. The overwhelming majority of migrants just want to exist and work alongside everyone else. Okay, great. Well, if you think that, then why are you trying to lump in
that
and
they-
then take the... Oh, jeez. I'm debating with Hasan now. I just
You're
realized
claiming
you got
they're
me.
coming
You actually
to
got
do
me.
fraud.
Okay, I can't.
You
I said it was
have
like two
no
messages.
evidence
I've actually fucking Jesus fucking
of
Christ.
Migrants
Okay,
coming to do
one more,
fraud.
and then I'm gonna move on. Okay, you got baited. No, I've been baited. He did get me. So okay, all the migrants want to work alongside everybody else. That's great. That's lovely. That's amazing. That's really nice. So don't launder the good reputation of all those migrants that want to look good and work with everybody else and have no problems. Don't launder their reputation through these Somalian scammers. Don't do it, because I agree
not
with you.
doing
You
that.
know I'm not
You're the-
anti-immigration.
you're
I'm
the
not
only
pro-migrant.
one
I think some people should be able to come over here for
these
sure, but it needs to be in the
third
best interest of
world
American citizens. And right now it's not.
parasites
When you have these people
are
come
coming
in and they're
in to
scamming the
do
system, they're getting these
fraud.
massive amounts of welfare. It's going to a private daycare in their own fucking house. They
I
have
like
a
that he
massive
is,
house.
by the way, he
It's
is
a
just like
huge
working
problem,
his
man.
way up to just describing how
Think about
racism
much
works,
people-
right?
How many people we could help that are Americans if we were able to take that money and give it to them. And I'm not saying I hate Somalians. I don't hate any of that. You're only saying third world parasites coming to do fraud? Yeah, exactly, because they are. What else do you call it? 89% are on welfare. What the fuck is that? Why are we bringing people in just so we can give them welfare? We have people here that are on welfare. I drove by I was like on the
They're
highway.
American
I'm
citizens.
driving by on the highway. I see a homeless veteran on the highway. He's got a sign painted the American flag. I've got to see this guy live on the street while they're living in a mansion. This isn't fair. And now I'm debating again.
They're
It's
American
not.
citizens, number one. I don't even know if the 89
Listen,
claim is correct or not, for the
Stop
record.
defending the indefensible. What you guys are doing right now is the same as you were criticizing
You're
MAGA people for doing for Epstein.
strawmanning my argument.
Not everything has two sides.
I'm not. You're strawmanning my
In
argument.
the same way that I supported and I agreed with you with what you were saying with Epstein, I'm
As
not.
I've
You're
said
strawmanning my argument.
on-
Well, you're mad at the way that I'm saying it. I don't think it really
I'm
matters.
not
Personally, you want to say it
really
matters. I
mad.
don't really give a
You
shit.
can see me
The point is the
typing.
problem.
I'm not even going to say that. I'm just
Yes.
going to say
They're not
No.
healing anything you say, and you can't type and listen at the same time. Sure. And anyway, just stop debating. That's what he does. Just stop talking to him. Yes,
his
exactly.
whole audience is like, stop
So-
debating him. Stop debating him. I wonder why. I
No,
wonder why they're
if
upset.
you go and you see any of this stuff, you go around in Austin or anything else, it is really, really bad. And I think that you're right that the Somali thing is not that big. It is the tip of the iceberg.
Oh,
It is not even the tip of the iceberg. It is the seagull on the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, interesting.
It is massive.
You've spent 76
It's in the
hours
military.
just talking about third world
it's
parasites.
in the IRS. It's
Every
in food stamps.
moment
It's in
that
everything.
you spend implying
And it shouldn't be defended
that
just because it's a bunch of
immigrants
people that are
are
migrants or immigrants or
coming
from any other
in
community.
to do fraud.
But to say that there is not a
by
problem with bringing in a
pointing
bunch of people that
to
are 89% on some sort of welfare,
specific
that's a problem.
instance of fraud
Listen,
done by Somalis,
it's fucking
done
fraud.
in let's say
If you
in
don't see, oh yeah, somebody
Minnesota,
broke into the building.
is a
and they
moment
stole all the documents.
You're doing Elon's
yeah, I wonder why. propaganda.
propaganda for him.
Anyway, so yes,
Every moment that you spend implying that immigrants are coming
That's
to
a
do
lie,
fraud by
dude.
pointing to
Yeah,
a
of
hyper-specific
course.
instance of
Of
fraud
course
done
it's
by
a lie.
done in Minnesota is
Absolutely
the moment
it
you're
is.
doing Elon's
They can't
propaganda
wrap
for
their
him.
head around the idea that
Elon
you're
Musk
going
is
after
the
all the fraud
immigrant that
regardless
is
of
doing
who's committing
fraud.
it.
Elon
Well,
Musk
I think that really, if there are people defending
the
this that
real
were not,
parasite
people
here,
like Americans
but
doing this, or like
you're
some random
worried
Mormon
about
community doing this, I think that everybody would be,
upsetting him, I think.
together agreeing that it's very bad. But because it's a minority community that is an immigrant community, there are people that are just,
He's not reading it, but Chad is.
categorically defending them for that reason.
That 89% is false. Probing Trump's verbal attack on Somalis. 84% of
So
individuals
that's really
reporting
the main
Somali
problem.
ancestry in Minnesota, not just Somali.
They
wait,
live
what is
in
this?
beautiful
We updated this
mansions
article,
while so many
including
Americans
information that
can't
Somali
afford a
State
house.
demographer
Exactly.
showed us. Provided to us
It's
showing
really just
84%
that
of
simple.
individuals reporting
And
Somali
if you're
ancestry in
okay
Minnesota,
with
not just
that,
Somali immigrants
I
benefited
don't
from the
think
specific
that I
public
really have
assistance,
the
mostly
alignment
Medicaid.
there. I think there's a big problem.
Mute him when you talk, please. Wait, he's reading it. I think
Remember
he's
the
reading
suckers
what
who
I
don't find a
said.
fraud like them. Yeah, I think there's a degree of that.
Have you
but,
ever
like,
seen an
are
episode of
you
Law and
really a
Order? Criminals
sucker?
often
That's
try
the
to obscure
problem, is that
evidence.
It's important to be able to find the fraud, but to put the blame on the people that are being defrauded, I think, is basically victim blaming. And that's the reason why you go to a CVS and everything's locked up. That's the entire reason why you go to a
Unban me and I'll
CVS,
donate to your
everything's
charity of
locked up in the
choice.
CVS. It's because all of these people like, oh yeah, well, you shouldn't have done that. Absolutely not. Fuck that. How much percent of fraud do you think Somalis commit in the United States? Probably, I would say less than 1 to 2%. Maybe maybe a little bit higher than
Not
that.
even. That's
but
crazy.
Very, very like if you're asking like if it's a percentage,
That's insane.
A very, very low percent. I think that they are committing a very low percent. Now, per
Bro
capita,
can't debate.
may
Lost
be
to a
very
Jewish
high,
comedian, age 32,
but
Charlie Kirk or Ben
collectively,
Shapiro would
it's low.
annihilate him.
And
Well,
so
can't
the
do the
reason
Charlie
why-
Kirk
and
one
that's the
anymore,
thing,
but
right?
definitely
It's like,
down to
so
do
why
Ben
even
Shapiro.
defend it?
You guys
It's
can keep
obviously
fantasizing
bad.
about it, though.
But this is the reason why I supported Doge. Like, I feel like government wasting
Zach
money
Watcher
is just a
here,
huge
but I do
problem
think that it's
everywhere.
unfair that he can
It's
talk and you
obviously a
have to
problem.
type. Even if I disagree with you, he should talk to you. There we go.
They're pissed off at Elon Musk because he saved free speech and investigated fraud with Doge. Well, they didn't even do enough of that. Yeah, come on, man. These people are not smart enough to pull this off alone. The government are the ones enabling the
He's
fraud.
actively
yeah, so
trying
I think,
to.
and this
He's
is what's
actively trying to
happening,
move
right?
away from
So I
reading
think
my
this
comments
is part
now.
Of this is part of the reward structure. Is that the
I
government
respect
allows
you
this
trying to get a
fraud
dialogue
happen
going. Asmon has
because
shown
they effectively
to his
want
audience
buy
he's a
the votes
coward.
from these
I think that there are definitely a lot of people in his audience that will look at this and think Asmongold is being a little cowardly. Is Kai still alive, bro? Show us the shot collar, bro. She's dead. I killed her.
Two different versions of this, right? So there's the first
And I
where
think
they're
there
allowing
will
it
be
to
some
happen. And I
people,
think
there will be
that's
some people in there
right
that'll just
higher
like
level.
engage in
Then
self-soothing
there's also the
behavior.
other level
Engage in
where
self-soothing
the
behavior, especially because like the moment that we start talking, if you noticed, he said he agreed with me quite a bit. And that's precisely the problem here. He doesn't want to have a conversation where he will be forced to concede on a lot of the things, because a lot of the things that he said about what my positions are wrong. So if his audience saw what my actual position was here, and then actually he had to sit there and defend what he's saying in front of someone who is a little bit more knowledgeable about what's going on in Minnesota, he would have to fold, because immediately he would be like, well, yeah, we agree, as he did, right? You're getting really good at debating. I wonder how the Clippers are going to spin him ducking you. They'll say Asmongold destroyed Hasan or something like that. What is this? I watch you both for different reasons. What needs to happen is you listen to what he's saying now and actually respond later, because he's assuming you're listening even though you're engaging in your chat. Honest opinion. Why won't he just talk to me directly then? This is what doesn't make any sense. Because I'm willing to have this conversation. He's the only one who doesn't want to have this conversation. And I think like
specific group, I think that for Somalians, like, yeah, they are voting as a bloc, but the reality is that this would happen anywhere. And I think that there is a unspoken rule kind of that keep the gravy going and we're going to keep voting for you. And it's ironically another version of Republicans cutting taxes for rich people and then rich people continuing to fund Republicans. So the problem really
The thing is
that
like
when
one
all
of my
these people
worst
are voting for
qualities
this
as
group,
far as
the
like
reason
debating
why
or
is
whatever,
because
one
this
of my
group
worst
is making
qualities
sure
is
and
unironically
greasing
that
the
I'm
wheels for
very,
them to take advantage of the
you know, I'm
system.
very
And I think both
conciliatory
of
in
these
my
problems
tone
are
whenever I have this
substantial
kind of
and
conversation with
gigantic. And I don't
people,
think
even if
people
I
even realize
completely
how big
oppose
they
their
actually
worldview.
are.
So the irony is like,
So that's
I
what I
wouldn't
would
be
say.
looking for easy dunks or anything like that. I just want to actively have genuinely, like,
fucked by both.
people
Yeah,
yell at me
exactly.
all the time in my own
Tyson
community. If
Foods
you're in
imports
here
workers to
for the
kill
first time
unions
ever,
and hires
you'll know
undocumented
this,
people
but
and helps them around the
people
law to
actually
hire them and
come
also
to my
work for them
community
all
and yell at me all the time because I always try to
Walmart used
fucking
give
engage
people
in good faith when I
advice
have these
on
sorts of
how to
conversations.
sign up for
And I
food
think that
stamps
like
whenever they
clip
started-
farming as a meta actually destroys any kind of good faith that could potentially happen. It makes it much easier. It makes it much easier to frame your opposition's argument as something that it actually isn't, right? And that's what it is. Like, that's what he would rather continue to do. And the more I write in his chat, and the more that his community sees that, some will say it's good that you're actually not talking to him, King. We don't want you to feel insecure about your worldview. We don't want to feel insecure about our worldview. But there will be plenty of people who go, I think there should be open dialogue between the two, right? He talks about me every day. Yeah, there will be guys who go, Roach King 1, Hasan, Dog Abuser 0, you know?
It's still human trafficking and kidnapping. Yeah, I think so too. And I think that they need to take this is an issue. Maybe Hasan will agree with this. I think that they need to take the people that are employing these illegal aliens. They need to do a discovery process on their personal and work computers and correspondence surrounding work. And if any of them acknowledge or express a reality or a knowledge information that
But
they
the
are
solution
knowingly employing these illegal aliens,
is
I would like to see them charged for human
documenting
trafficking. I
people
would, because that's
and
effectively what they're
then
doing. And until we have these business owners,
punishing
and I'm very frustrated
business
about this. If you want me to be
owners,
honest, that ICE is not doing that.
but
I think ICE should
shifting
also
the
be doing that, because
blame
I don't really, and this is another thing,
to
is that
the
I don't have
migrants,
any genuine
migrant
animosity
workers,
for Somalians. I don't have any genuine animosity for Mexicans or any other people from South
helps
America or the
the
Congo or Haiti
owners
or any of these people that are coming
get
over here, right?
away
I actually
with
don't.
the
I know a lot of other people do, and
two-tier
this is a
labor
contentious viewpoint that I have,
system
but my
that
viewpoint with it is actually very
depresses
simple. I don't
wages.
actually hate these people. I don't dislike
Stop it,
them.
you clown.
I just understand that they're coming here, and by doing so, they're causing us problems. But I don't view them as inherently bad or evil people. I don't disagree, but the solution is documenting people and then punishing business owners. But shifting the blame to migrant workers helps the owners get away with the two-tier labor system that depresses wages. Well, I think that really it's... So this is Hasan. That's Hasan said that. I agree with you. Actually, I do. I don't agree, because the migrant workers are definitely to blame to an extent. Like, you're talking about workers. We're not talking about Somalians at this point, right? It's the workers. I agree.
I said this is the problem with
because they
clip
wouldn't
watching,
be
because
coming
this is my
here
actual
if-
position.
Basically, like, think about it like this, right? It's a carrot on a stick. You
Hasan
have
is
the
watching you
donkey, you have
freaking
the
out. He's
horse.
such a bitch.
The
Wait, what?
horse
Am
is
I
coming to
freaking
the
out?
carrot. They're the ones putting the carrot out there. They're the ones that are creating the incentive for all of these people to come and overrun America and depress down all of our
What?
wages. And then here's the other big problem, is that these people come here, they have a bunch of kids.
I think blaming
they also bring
people
sometimes their relatives. They're living off of the
for
government.
wanting
and
a better
effectively, especially
life.
through things.
Just like your
Sorry, I read something. Especially through things that are like
did when they came
that
here
totally distracted
is
me.
wrong.
Like food stamps, for example, or education system. They do cost the
helps
taxpayer a lot of money. These illegal aliens do.
billionaires
And they don't
keep
do it
this
directly, but they do it
current
also through things
broken
like identity
system
theft, which is extremely
alive.
common. Like, it was a very, like, I even knew people that knew people. I'm not going to get into specifics here, who would regularly go down to Hasan's been to Austin. It's like Riverside. It's like the other side of I-35, right? It's like on the other side of like downtown.
Why is this go-to response? I
Tons of
agree, but not
believers
actually agreeing.
There
I don't
used to
know.
be. There's not as many now anymore.
I said, I
But,
think blaming
like,
people for wanting a
there
better
used
life,
to
just
be
like a
so many
great-grandparents
illegals
did when
there.
they came here, is
And so
wrong
you would
and
just
helps
go
the
over there,
billionaires keep
and
this
then
current
you would
broken
just take these
system
kids'
alive.
names and their social security numbers, and because the parents
Hasan
weren't
gay
filing tax
R-word.
returns,
Redeemed
other people filed
highlighted
them that were
message.
citizens, they would take care of these kids, or sorry, not take care of. They would claim these kids to get extra tax refunds, and then split the refund money with the parents. And this is the kind of stuff that, unless you've seen this stuff happen, you don't even realize that it's happening. That's it. East 1st to 15th Street, exactly.
It's so fucking frustrating to
there
watch
it
this.
is.
If Zach wasn't such
And
a
it is
screenager, you could maybe have a
massively
conversation with
problematic.
Hasan and
The
realize they have more
business
common ground than he
the
realizes.
business owners are the
Nah, Hasan, they can get the
they
fuck out of
are
my country.
the
So can you go back
genesis
to
of
Turkey?
the migration. If it wasn't for the business owners paying these people under the table, they wouldn't be here. That's the facts. That's 100%
Hasan,
true. It happened to
mega
me. Yep,
gay
100%.
R-word.
100% on that point as well. A lot of families still do this. Of course they would. Why would they not do this? And this is the problem that I have, is that I think that there are a lot of shared values and like common goals that even Hasan and I have.
This is how Asmongold presents himself as like a reasonable centrist for the record, I think. But he's libbing up.
And fucking scams and this shit is
Very different
it's really
attitude
not a big
overall
deal,
than what he was
but
saying
it's an
yesterday.
indicative
You know what I mean?
problem
Like
of a
the
larger
parasitic
issue.
migrants and all this shit.
So yeah, I'd want to. Hopefully there can be an alignment
Since Hasan is
on
watching,
these
can
actual
we get a free
scams,
Kai in the chat?
making sure that we have actual Americans, real Americans
Yeah,
that
I mean,
are
I don't
getting
give a
this
shit.
money.
Yeah, free Kaya. I
Real
agree.
Americans. Imagine that.
We don't need immigrants. Our economy is not expanding faster than current
Just
population. The
billions
American people struggle to
from
find
one
jobs. Oh
state.
my god,
yeah,
it's
billions
cope.
of
It's
dollars.
cope.
You really think it's the worst place is Minnesota? Give me a fucking break. We can also see what happens. You flood the market with new workers. Looking at the effect on women beginning to work. Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the details about that, but I could see that being the case, sure. That's why I watch you.
You need to be a chatter, you need to check
I mean, the
logs.
thing is that if you want to deal with the problem, you have to you have to approach it from like 10 different ways. You don't just approach it from one way. You have to over $1 billion. Those committing fraud in Minnesota will be caught and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the
Tell him
law.
there are no real Americans, which I meant. He meant the Europeans. Yeah, I just don't
As I said,
understand. Like, if you
if
are
Tim Walz doesn't
anti-fraud,
get
as
arrested,
I am, you wouldn't be hyper
I
focusing
am
on the
never
fucking
voting for another Republican
the entire
until somebody
Somali
runs
community
that, wants to do
you
that.
are suspecting of doing fraud, implying that every single
Yeah,
Somali person that's come here is actually a third worldist, like a third world parasite, simply here to steal funds. Okay, that's it. The reality of the matter is, even in terms of like, keep pressing him, especially on the women going into the workforce, it destroys in his Chad's tradwife stance. I don't even know what he's talking about there. Nazi, you worked your entire life on your fake image just to destroy it all by shocking your dog. You R-word. Bah ha 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 ha. Yeah, no, everyone hates me now. The thing about HasanAbi is that he's really like, and then, but also those, but then again, you know, anyway, so that's kind of it. Nice. Wow, owned. He said women starting the working flood the market like immigrants. Wait, what? Let's see what else he's talking
watch
about.
it, and then I got distracted. Where the fuck did it go? There was a video about this, and I don't know where the hell it is.
He banned me before I could answer his questions. Thanks for going in the chat. Look at what I was trying to get. Anyway, all right. Well, he's off talking about. A chatter implied it Adolf Slop played dumb to appease. Wait, what? Yeah. The point is, it's not 89% on welfare, it's only 8%. Scroll down and see the Somalis on welfare. No, they're saying that benefited from the specific public assistance program, mostly Medicaid. So it's not even like welfare in the sense that they think it is. It's just Medicaid, right? But worth noting, Bowser said 95% of Somalis in Minnesota are citizens of the United States and 58% of them were born in the U.S. Okay? February report from the Libertarian Cato Institute using a different methodology found that immigrants consume 21% less welfare and entitlement benefits than native-born Americans on a per capita basis in 2022. That report looked at the percentage of total dollar amount of spending on benefits for immigrants and U.S.-born residents and accounted fewer means-tested programs as welfare and also included Social Security and Medicare, which are considered entitlement programs. The CIS report said that in 2022, 54% of households headed by immigrants, including naturalized citizens, legal permanent residents, and people without legal status, use one or more major welfare program. The problem with this report is, do you believe that people who are naturalized citizens are American citizens? Do you believe that people who are born, okay, do you believe that people who are born with Somali ancestry but are born on U.S. soil are American citizens or not? Now, the reality of the matter is, for programs like the CIS, they try to claim that American citizens, natural-born U.S. citizens, are actually not real U.S. citizens because they were born to one or two families or one or two parents that are either undocumented or, not an American citizen at all. Okay? That's the issue. That's the problem. Those people are American citizens. And the entitlement programs are claiming that this is just welfare is also silly because it's like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, things like that. And the idea is like, what? What are we supposed to do? If someone is of Somali descent, even if they are an American citizen, that they shouldn't have access to Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security? It's fucking ridiculous. These are programs that they're actually paying into. That's how Social Security works, for example. It's just plain racism. Okay? That's it. The way you predicted what Asmon would say.